Good morning, Martin. Welcome to episode 74 of Illuminating Rounds. We're back. We're back from holidays. How you been?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, much busier than I thought retirement would be. I mean, I'm literally ran off my feet, one thing or another. I mean, it's mostly doing things like playing a Dinant campaign
Yeah,
with you. It's not literally no time to do anything else. But
yeah,
yeah, no, very well.
it does do that. Did you have a little holiday somewhere? You went somewhere nice?
Not really, no,
Oh,
no. I mean, you went to Cyprus,
I
didn't
went to
you?
Cyprus. Yep.
Check out the ex-colonies or whatever. But no, I went to. I went to see. I've been to see a couple of friends. So I was sort of staying over a couple of friends'
Okay.
houses, things like that. So just catching up with old friends, really.
Well, I've got to give a shout out to Cyprus because apart from the fact that there's amazing weather, the plugs are British and you drive on the left-hand side. It's
Well,
home from home, especially with our weather right now. I struggle to think the difference between my back garden, which is yellow brushland, and although we've had some rain lately, so it's actually kind of
we
ignored
have
that.
recently, yeah.
But Cyprus was lovely, thank you. It was a whistle stop tour, 4 or 5 days there, and yeah, we've been hard at it with Dinant, haven't we? We've become like regulars on Vassal. People are popping in to see us kind of trawling through day two. And we've got through it. We're through day two, and
Yeah.
we've even had Carl Noriega as well offer to give us some insights as well. So we're going to probably use him at the end of the campaign, I think, to have him have maybe a little bit of commentary, but not extensive commentary on our game, and also to talk to him about the campaign's creation and maybe some tactics that we did badly or whatever it is that he can shine some light on. But yeah, it's been fun, isn't it? We'll talk about
Yeah, it
that.
has been fun.
Talk
Yeah.
about that.
It's like all these sorts of campaign games, and you play them for the first time, you begin to realise as you're playing it all of the kind of the issues and the key approaches and things like that you didn't understand when you started, I suppose, isn't
That's
it? So
right, and I
it's
think
very interesting to hear from Carl, actually.
exactly. I think it's
Yeah.
like Denon and every other campaign, absolutely. And
Yes.
you've mentioned this, really does reward a second play in. The
Yeah.
problem is that you kind of get a little bit not jaded is too strong a word, but you certainly get kind of like mired in the you need
Yeah.
a fresh scenario just to take off the because it's so
Yeah.
much in one thing, and it's
Yeah.
you kind of just need a little bit more variety to be able to go back, and so it's very difficult. I think yeah, if you was to play this a second time straight afterwards, it would be much different.
Yes.
But although having said that, the flavour of the campaign is still going to be the same. You're still going to get
Mhm.
a lot of and with Denon more so than something like Red Barricades, Denon has a much slower build up, doesn't it? It ramps up a little bit. So you've got the kind of the manoeuvring and you've got the bombardment and you've got the kind of like the slow bringing in of the reinforcements from the French and the slow traverse across the river with the Germans. So it kind of has this kind of crescendo that kind of climbs up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the challenging thing.
Good characterisation there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go through day two today, and then we'll probably play a different scenario for next week, and then maybe get back to Dinant again, but much sooner than 2 years.
Probably about a month, I'd guess,
Yeah,
something like that, perhaps,
exactly
yeah.
that, exactly that. It does take us a long time. I think it took us 8 hours yesterday to play through four
Yeah.
turns. So it's certainly a large commitment. I think you're going to take 3 or 4 sessions to get through a day
Yeah.
in general. So a reasonable amount. Okay, all right. So that's done. We're going to talk about that. We've got some scenario archive updates to talk about. The first, now I couldn't pronounce Maryland. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
And I got where it was wrong.
Right.
There
Okay.
was a lot of comments on me getting where Maryland was wrong.
So what chance do I have of pronouncing nor'easter? I don't know if that's nor'easter or wait. The nor'easter pack is up.
Yeah.
It's a pack that's sort of six years old or so, but it's up on the scenario archive now. If you haven't got that, you want to round out your collection. We may play a scenario from that one. The other thing I'm excited to play, and it might be arriving through my door today, is the Hasmo pack number 3. We've finally got it in the UK, so that's arriving. I think today or tomorrow. My pre-order has been dispatched, and I thought we would give away a Hasmo pack number 3 as well. Now, I want to give patrons an advantage in getting this, but I also don't want to rule everybody out on this one. So to win a copy of Hasmo 3, all you have to do is send us a game log of a scenario that you've played with your regular opponent or an opponent that you have permission to perhaps share this with. I don't know if there's anyone's not going to give permission, but just give us a log file that we can talk about as go through as part of the show, and give us a little bit of commentary about it, so we've got a little bit of background perhaps about the scenario. So just give us a full Vassal game log. If you get in touch with me either on the forums or dave.ramsey@gmail.com, anything like that, whatever, aslscenario@gmail.com as well will work, ASL Scenario Archive. And what we'll do is we will weight the dice in favour of the patrons, but we will not rule out anybody in terms of, so anybody can do it. And so we'll do it like, I don't know, like it'll be a 2/3 choice chance that a patron will win and a 1/3 chance that a non-patron will win. We'll roll that first, and then we will do a random selection based on who has submitted it. So we'll do that. And all I'm looking for is a game log that we can talk about, and you can win yourself a copy of Hasmo 3. It's not cheap, Martin, I'll tell you that. It's double the price of the Battle for France pack, which I also picked up. But and we haven't played one of those either yet, so we have to do that. But we've enjoyed the Hasmo packs that we've played so far, so we have to do that. And Chuck was obviously a good guy, so we like Chuck. Can't speak for Charles. Don't know about him. He could be crazy.
Could be great.
Who knows? All right. Okay. Shall we talk? Oh, this. Okay. Scenario after archive. So the other things, bits and pieces we changed. So I've added a scenario map, which everyone's, I'm sure, seen by now. So on the left-hand side, there's a scenario map. Every scenario in ASL history is kind of on that map somehow. It's always tricky. I don't quite know how to handle the scenarios that are on the same point GPS location as another scenario. And obviously, there's only so many Stalingrads that you're going to be able to put onto a map. So there isn't any code at the moment that kind of offsets them. So although you'll see that there are 20, for example, in a particular area, if you zoom right into one, you might only get one on the area. I've got to figure out a way of doing that that's efficient and not. It gets a bit tricky when there's 6,000 and you're checking 6,000 other ones. Anyway, that's that. You can go in and change the GPS locations of any that you see are wrong. So that's a possibility for logged in users. The other thing is on the publication maps as well. I've got on each publication now, you can see roughly where all the scenarios are, just for a little bit of glamour. The other change that was made, or the amendment, is that we now have an Internet General Resources, thanks to Stefan, who has been going through diligently putting all the extra resources he can find. So, for example, all the blogs, all the ASL blogs that he found are now listed on the articles list. I'm going to put a better interface so that you can search and narrow that down and search by whatever, by description or whatever, if you want to try and find something in particular. But so there's a whole list of blogs there. So if you go to the article list, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see all the blogs. And that's pretty good. There's some nice blogs on there.
That's really good.
Yeah. So
if you're looking at a particular scenario, it won't yet show which bloggers have covered that particular scenario. It won't do that yet.
No. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good thing. So you could, in theory, link. So publications are linked. So if there's a publication,
Yes.
but there is the option already to do that. So on the scenario archive, if you go into a scenario, let's just scroll all the way back up here. So let me just jump into any scenario. Now this doesn't really get used that much. If you go into a scenario and if you scroll down to the bottom, there are links and references you can add. So if you find, for example, a link to a particular scenario, you can add that. There's a little kind of scenario info box on the right hand side, links and references. It doesn't really get used very much, and I don't know if that's worth someone making a bit of effort to do. But anyway, that's there if people would like to.
Fantastic.
All right, Dinant, day 2. Are you ready, Martin?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. So here is our map of day 2. I've zoomed right out to give you an overview. Martin, take you back to the end of day 1 or the start of day 2. Have you got any thoughts about your attack? You obviously the Germans coming across.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the key things is the Germans have to put a bridge across the Meuse, not by the end of this, but the next campaign, campaign game, the third campaign game date. But it takes a while to do that. So, and there are two types of the bigger bridges and the smaller bridges. The smaller bridge is only big enough for infantry and for armored cars. The larger bridges take longer to build, but you can get tanks across those. So I kind of thought I needed to buy some pontoon bridges, and the vehicles and the engineers to throw them across. So I guess most of my thinking was based around that. I bought small boats because you absolutely destroyed my boats in
Yeah.
that first campaign game day. I've got loads of infantry ready to sort of like paddle across. But the key thing really for the Germans, and it's nightmarish in a sense, is you've got to try and make it safe or safe-ish for those engineers to build those pontoon
Yeah.
bridges and gradually get them across. And that's the central. I don't think anything else matters as much as that.
Yeah.
So I'd want to get some control of ideally of the cliffs,
Yeah.
get into those towns on either side, and just push the French further and further away. That was my thinking.
That's right. And now on day one, if you remember, we'll link to it was episode 27 if you want to go back to day one. But I had a lot of mortars on this cliff edge that all kind of broke and then eventually were malfunctioned. And so I have very little left that can actually look over the cliff edge. Now I'm rushing on some. I bought the tanks, the AFVs that come in on I think it's the R35s, and I got the Belgian cavalry as well. And those guys are kind of rushing in. One of the challenges I've got is I don't know where you're going to break through, so it's very hard for me. It's not a very easy map to traverse. If you like north to south, it's obviously easy to come across the map west to east. So one of the challenges, I don't quite know where to stem the gaps, and I don't know where you'll break through. Although I look quite strong down in the south, and you're not really attacking the south at the moment. Most of this is just dummies, and as you find out, there's not a lot of strength down that right hand side. And I actually put them there initially, expecting you to do a big bombardment down there, and I think you bombarded a little bit further up here, didn't you? In the more in the centre. And so I've kind of struggled, but I have struggled to give you enough to prevent you really from building up a lot of those boats. In terms of CVP, I did 48 points of damage to you on day one, and you did 27 points to me. So it's definitely kind of it's hurting you more than me, but you have so much more to come on and also be on the map as well. So I'm going to start to whiz through. It's very difficult to give people an idea of what's going on.
And the French are going first. It's worth pointing that out, isn't it? This is the French have the initiative in this.
That's
this
right.
one.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. The French going first. So we bring the tanks on. The Belgian cavalry come flying on. I mean, it's difficult to really tell you what's going on in terms of everything else. What was your ambition? Obviously, to get the bridge across, Martin.
Yeah.
What else were your ambitions?
I've got two lots of OBA. I'm going to use that on the cliff tops. I'm hoping to use that on the cliff tops too. If you start to get some fire down onto the bridges, I want to try and get into those towns and just put on the north and the south side and just gradually push you further and further away from the river. I've got lots of vehicles, and I'm kind of thinking I can use them to give some supporting fire from the east side of the river.
Right.
Yeah.
You bought a lot of vehicles, didn't you? That came on.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is one of those challenges in terms of I think one of the things that kind of put us off playing this halfway through was the counter clutter. Was immense, wasn't it, for you? I mean, you were.
It's interesting when you look at the sort of the rules and stuff. So you spend some time obviously getting your head around some of the special Dinant rules, and they're okay. I mean, it takes a while to kind of like absorb them properly, but they're not that complicated, or it's not too bad. It's the building the pontoon bridges and stuff like that. But then you've got to do things like which aren't special Dinant rules, like how do you tow objects through narrow roads
Right.
when you've got lots and lots of vehicles towing things,
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that. So that kind of thing just felt it was quite it was quite difficult remembering the rules and like counting that all up, and when you've got other things on your mind as well.
Exactly. You had a bit of a
Yeah.
breakthrough here, here in
Yes.
I 31.
Yeah.
You got, you did made a great entrance into the kind of thing, and this is kind of a kind of like a sign of what's to come. Really, such strength from the Germans. I really have very very little
Mm.
to kind of keep you at bay. I think this was a great line of sight check here, and then I realised it was 16 hexes away, and I think that's not great. Then you're kind of up on the cliff edge. This is turn
Yeah.
two
Mm.
of the day. I'll add the vassal log file, so if anyone wants to kind of step through it and have a look at it,
Mhm.
they're welcome. Obviously, we made plenty of mistakes here. I mean, I think one of the kind of signs of a campaign game is that so much is going on. You really have to be both pretty flexible about forgetting to move a counter or bringing stuff on or whatever, because there's so
Mm.
literally you're fighting counters and everything
Mm.
all the time. It is hard work, and this is pretty frustrating because I think had I had some OBA myself, I'd have been. I
Yes.
think maybe this is the kind of lesson for me, is that really
Yeah.
OBA on day or the afternoon of the first day is pretty vital for the French,
Yeah.
and that would have been a bit of a different scenario.
Mm.
The other side is that you have such firepower that anything that kind of pokes its head up
Yeah.
is in trouble. I think on
Dealt with very quickly. That's
yeah,
right.
except for this position here. There's a medium machine gun, isn't there, up here right now on the cliff edge, GG 27,
Oh
and
yeah.
this position is going to be the bane of your life, really, for the amount of firepower that it soaks up. You get going with the boats. You became quite proficient at
Yes. Yeah. No.
boat craft, boat
I,
handling.
I, I should be writing the article on boats, I think now. There's an interesting difference with Dinant, and you have to pay to unbeach. Normally, it's free to beach or unbeach. I think they've done that just to slow the pace of the Germans crossing down, I imagine,
Right, right, right.
or possibly to model the nature of the river. I'm not sure.
Turn three, we start to get some melees
Yes.
down here in the. I don't know what this area is like. Kind of like a little village.
And actually, I've managed to blast away the dummies, haven't I? Which I didn't think were dummies.
Yes, yeah,
Because I said to you, I think most of them are dummies, and you said, "Well, no, I think you'd be surprised." A little
yeah.
bit of your, um,
There's like two counters down there, I think.
and they're all in melee, aren't
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
they? Mm,
And this is, a lot of all the way through this game as well. I did have the kind
mm,
of feeling that I was kind of pushing you back, and I didn't know whether to pull back or to make you kind of take your time. And like for example,
mm.
these melees, I didn't have to reinforce these melees,
Yeah,
but I kind of felt like if I'm going to slow you down, I think that maybe the aim of the game for the French isn't necessarily to survive
mm,
unscathed, but it's just to slow you down.
yeah. And one of the things that's sort of on the other side of that, one of the things I was concerned about was to what extent should I pause and let the reinforcements catch up and
Yeah,
then attack with an overwhelming strength,
yeah,
or do what I did and keep attacking you with bits and bobs and kind of losing
yeah,
losing it sometimes, losing forces. And we'll see that in the north a bit, where
yeah.
I push a bit too hard and end up getting a bloody nose.
One of the things we're not sure about, we should have asked Carl about this, but is the line of sight between my hidden anti-tank gun up and underneath the underpass across the bridge.
Mm.
Now, reading through this, there is line of sight here. There's also there's a little bit of a weird sentence about the hindrances of these the bridge remains here, in that it says it blocks line of sight between 0 and 1, or 0 and -1, so presumably if you're in the river and it goes through, but also that of a fire lane or something like that. There's a strange line in there. So going across the fire, we played it that the line of sight was clear across here, but there was some hindrances from the bridge. But I'm not sure if either of those are 100% correct.
Mm.
You have two OBA modules that are kind of dancing around a little bit, and you get a little bit of unluckiness with the.
I think up until now I've just had constant radio breaking
That's right.
and things like that up until this point.
Yeah, and even then we had a question about whether the radio is. Do you remember this question about whether the radio is tied to the module, or whether the leader is tied to the module, or whether neither are tied to the module? I can't remember if we.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, we played on as if it was.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's okay. I mean, in theory, I suppose anyone can call the OBA in, and any radio.
I think anyone with a radio can call it in. It's just, yeah. But obviously, we because we'd had that big break after the second time, we needed to make sure that the right leader.
Yeah.
Because there was already a mission in progress.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the big break was about nearly 2 years, I think. Of so yeah, it certainly was significant. You got a bit unlucky with some recalls. You have to try and repair your AFVs. You lost a couple of them here.
Yeah.
The pillbox is doing a good job here, although
that is the bane of my life, actually. I think.
Pillbox. And I've got a hip unit in the foxholes behind, which are going to help out the pillbox guys.
Yeah.
But you are making progress. I mean, so turn 4,
Uh-huh.
you are definitely. I'll zoom out, give you a kind of a view.
I think actually, if you look carefully, you can see that the first of the pontoon bridges are beached. So they've been unloaded.
Yeah, so let's have a look at those. So that's in. You've got the vehicles, and you're here. So this is in PP26.
Yeah.
And PP24. And you're right. There's so little I can do to. I'm just basically watching you roll and hoping for like a.
And of course, the engineers, although they're stacked. There's three platoons there. Three squads in each hex to get that work done. They're very high morale, and they've got Rommel nearby.
That's right. Yeah.
And they try to sort of boosting their efforts.
That's right. We're going to get the flames up in the build up in the forest on the northeast are going to take hold at some point. We get your flamethrower. This is quite an interesting little story here, isn't it, with the flamethrower? So this flamethrower is going to come up and trying to harass these tanks.
And actually, he's been very good at like moving one building ahead. Through fighting away along that sort of plateau there.
Yep.
But I decided to use him against the tanks.
And what was great about this scenario is that really, it's like 3 scenarios going on at once. So it is you kind of get focused on the little battles in each area. The downside is that you kind of are playing these simultaneously at random points. So you got to try and remember which ones are pulling back and which ones are pushing forward. So this is our kind of questions about whether we've got line of sight here for the thing. I'm not convinced, but I'm not, because there is that kink in the road. I'm not sure if that kink in the road was deliberately there. But you told me this is what is the ruling that we've used here to decide the line of sight?
So I know that Martin Mayers, who was play testing this, was on holiday in Germany, I think, with his wife, and he had to go. He was asked if he would go and sit in a specific cafe in Dinant, and see if he could see through the underpass or not. And he could. But which of the underpasses it was, I absolutely got no idea.
Well, we've assumed that Martin is sitting here next to my anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
But
that's how we established which rule to play, yeah.
And that was your ruling, to be clear, not mine, just so I didn't kind of pull out this rule from my backside, being like, okay, well, Martin Mayer says he can see it. So maybe not, but I am suspicious of that kink in the road, suggesting that maybe you can't.
We played it how we played it.
We did,
didn't we? Right or wrong?
That's right. And a lot of this is also, I mean, you're going to get, players like you and I are going to get 80% of this right, but 20% will get wrong, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay,
Yeah.
We'll miss modifiers. We'll maybe you'll miss a beaching point or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not in the scale of things.
You can actually see what's just happened in the south is exactly what I failed to achieve in the north, really, where you're just beginning to get a kind of a significant build up of force. In the north, I struggle, but we're about to see. I think we're about to see the prisoner escapes, aren't we?
This is in GG 38, is it?
GG 38. Hang on. Oh, is that it?
There's the ones in KK 26.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely, and this is what the campaign games lend themselves well, in that you see a full gamut of the possibilities of what happens in a scenario often do happen. So you will see, escaped prisoners jumping off into close combat, and you will see, snipers taking out a key position that then recovers itself, and there's all this kind of stuff going on that we're going to see. So yeah, we're going to get some escaping prisoners. I'm conscious that the map's jumping around a lot, and I don't want to make it. Okay. So the anti-tank gun malfunctions, and then the crew also will break at some point. But yeah, on its kind of second shot, I think, or something like that. You have jumped on top of the pillbox and are kind of chewing your way through the guys that are inside the pillbox. It looks like they're outside, but they're inside. Yeah, the sniper breaks your. Now this is possibly something we got wrong, but it's a little bit tricky. So we've got a broken squad here with two prisoners. Now I know that they can pass a task check. We weren't clear about what happens if you get a unit in there in the advanced phase. Whether that will prevent them, because you can't transfer the prisoners. We may have got that wrong. I'm not sure. We did look at it and couldn't see something. So we'll play it as it was.
So we played it as though the prisoner is a support weapon, so you can't take the support weapon away from a unit,
Right?
Unless your leader can. But not. But of course, it's a squad that I'm going to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the tanks try to line up to try and prevent you getting up this this gully here, or the kind of the hill pass, and it's quite an interesting fight here. I don't have a huge amount here. There's some concealed guys that you will find out about, but it's a bit sparsely defended. And I was very concerned about a breakthrough here, and the Belgians were going to reinforce this area. But this area actually becomes a bit of a success for the French.
Yeah.
So we get hold of the medium machine gun on the cliff again. I'll zoom back out again, and so now the tanks are coming in to kind of protect this pass. This is another one of those strange rules. We thought that you couldn't fire down 2 levels, which seems right, but there's an exception about cliffs that you can do. I think, but it doesn't feel right. So, but we played it as if it was okay. But there is an exception for cliffs. Maybe we misread that. But it seems to be that you can fire down cliffs. But again, it doesn't feel right. We might have got it wrong. But it doesn't really make a huge difference. You have a flamethrower somewhere in here. I think it's the concealed guys here. And then we have a bit of a standoff, don't we? You've got your prisoners.
GG 37 is the flamethrower that's going to go after the tanks.
Okay.
Of course, I've also got the OBA and stuff up there.
Yeah. You bring because you're going to bring your OBA down as smoke here. You managed to kill one of your squads, don't you? You break one of your guys.
I think we've passed that. I think that was before. Yeah, we've missed that. Because you got the normal OBA as well as the smoke in FF34.
Right.
That killed one of my units.
Yeah. You are now keeping my crew DM'd under there.
Yeah.
God damn, Martin Mayer's in his line of sight through that bridge. What else we got going on here? So we're on turn 5 now. So
So the blaze over in that woods is
Yeah.
a concern to me, actually, because it's got the potential to spread over a huge area and actually impact where the Germans can bring on
Yep.
reinforcements, because there's a road right next to it, isn't
Yep.
there? And it's
Yeah.
very, very likely actually to spread, because it's all wooded, isn't it? It's very likely to spread across that road.
Exactly. Yep. You lose one of your tanks to a recall here.
Hmm.
So we've got the prisoners. We've got what's going on here. So we've got the prisoners in. Where's our melee going on? We've got. Oh, this melee's getting sorted out down here. The Germans are
Yeah,
finally
yeah. So
getting
there's
through.
prisoners in KK 25, but they failed their
That's right.
task check. It's next turn. It's in my
That's
next
right.
turn
Yeah.
when they pass it, or one
Yeah.
of them does.
This is where you get your extra smoke as well from the
Hmm.
OBA.
Yeah.
More DMing of my guys. More boats coming across.
Mm.
But you've basically captured the kind of coastal village, really.
Yes. But that pushing up through the roads into the
Yeah. And I mean, if you look
deeper
at
into
like
the
if
town.
this was a normal scenario, if you've got, I mean, you must have what 20 squads or so down there,
Yeah.
and it's defended by, 4 or 5 squads down here. I mean, it's not a lot.
Yeah. It's the problem is bringing them to bear, isn't
Yep.
it? They're on the wrong
Yep.
side of a river.
Yep.
But at least I can cross that river safely, or relatively safely now.
Yep. You push your flamethrower up adjacent to the tanks,
Yeah.
and now you're worried about firing the flamethrower. It's hard because of the going up a cliff.
That's right, yeah. So it would be a 5 to kill, I think.
And because
And
there's
actually, it's 2 level. Oh, it is 2 levels. So
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that flamethrowers can go 2 levels up. That might be worth.
I thought that's why we were halving it for that, but
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah. So it's one level would be fine.
yeah.
Would,
And if
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
gap in the cliff for a path, is that still a cliff hex side if it goes through the path? I wasn't
I
sure.
think so. I think so. I mean, it's shown as a cliff, isn't it?
Yeah, just with the gap, I don't know if that's I don't know. But anyway, you choose not to shoot at it.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm desperately trying to fire at you to break to lose your concealment. Can't get anything. I'm intensive firing at it at a certain point.
In actual fact, I think later on you malfunction a gun, don't you? Which is sort of one of the benefits not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I intensify and break the gun. You decide you're going to get some attempt at going through the underpass. We realise you can't see that one
Doesn't work. Yeah.
because Martin Myers did not sit in this foxhole.
No.
Across. We've half squadded each other in the pillbox close combat that's going on. You are kind of moving around a little bit. The pontoon bridge is getting built, and you're building that with Rommel's direction.
And you can see the guys advancing on to it.
More guys coming across.
And I think and then you've got to drive the lorries onto the bridge with additional pontoons, and you have to unload them.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's certainly fun when you're not under fire.
And you do manage to get a couple of shots at the engineers, but it's they're ineffective and it's quite minor, isn't it? It's,
exactly. Yeah.
It's exactly the sort of thing that I guess German engineers are trained to ignore. The odd buddy just getting knocked into the river was
exactly.
made of sterner stuff than me, I think.
So we are now still turn 5. Pushing into we've got let's have a quick look into here. We'll zoom in a bit. So what have we got going on? We've got a whole bunch of concealed guys standing off against the tanks here. We've got the flamethrower still not sure what to do. We've got the melee going on. Oh, okay, right. So now we've got, what do we have? Where's our? I could never find this battle with the prisoners.
So that's in KK 25.
Oh, it's up here, is it? Right. Okay, yeah. So this is where. So you've now run a squad in.
Yeah.
with a broken squad. But we think you're not captured. You haven't captured these prisoners. But this could be
They haven't escaped. They haven't escaped at the moment. They are simply being guarded by a broken unit.
right, right, right.
In a moment, they'll. Oh no, yeah. So at this point, you get to roll, don't you, to see if they can
Yeah,
attack their
that's
prisoners?
right.
Yeah.
And so one of them gets the attack and
Yeah.
does it.
Yeah.
So and you fail against the other one. Now close combat is sequential in with prisoners. So
Mhm.
so we get one, and now these guys will get rearmed because they have
No. No. No.
not yet.
Because you didn't kill them. You
Oh,
didn't
not
kill
yet.
them.
Okay, I was here. So
Not yet. And the other thing is that if a squad kills a half squad, I don't know that you can rearm a
right,
whole squad.
right, right, right.
I think. Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You lose a tank to
Yeah.
the malfunction stuff.
Yeah.
The pillbox is cleared out by you, but my guys are and in the foxholes are defending quite well.
Yeah. And it's actually really difficult to approach that. You'll see
Yeah,
everything that I've got around there break in a minute.
yeah. I'm still trying to kill this flamethrower here. Fail
Yeah.
at intensive fire and break my
Yeah.
gun here. So we start to bring some more tanks in to try and help. These tanks get a bit confused and don't know where to go. I don't know where to block the holes and decide they're going to come around
Yeah.
this part here. We've got what else? We've got some. We've got some OBA dropping in, more smoke, and this smoke now is the smoke that will save your flamethrower.
That's true. That's true.
So you're gonna a little bit more fire. This was
I've
about
switched over to smoke because really the OBA wasn't being very effective against the tanks.
this is a
And
sloppy move. So
but the tanks are quite dangerous. They're a genuine threat to me, I think.
yep, yeah. Although the two firepower for the machine guns is a lot weaker than you
Modest,
wish.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They're better against your tanks.
They're better against my tanks than I thought they'd be because
Yeah.
I hadn't thought it through carefully. Yeah.
Yeah. This sloppy move from me here. The crew that started off here to try and grab the machine gun should have just gone EE-27, FF-27, and then advanced in. And instead, I assault move here, giving you a whole load of line of sights to
Yes.
some shots. I'm going to put that down to being overwhelmed by
Yeah.
Germans.
Yeah.
The flames are getting out of hand on the right-hand side. I haven't checked yet on the end of day what happens to flames, but I'm hoping that they'll stop. But I doubt it.
I don't think they do.
No.
There might be a role. Perhaps there's a role for it.
Yeah. All right. So what's happened now? We've got not a lot else has changed. You're still firing. I mean, you've so much fire at this poor machine gun guy.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So at this point now we have kind of on the melee with the prisoners. The
Yeah.
half squad eliminates your guy, and you fail to, I think, take me on in the close combat. So now we've gone to an armed half squad in here.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think I killed the squad.
Yeah.
I didn't kill the half squad, so
Yeah.
that's the half squad is now. Which made me think perhaps I should have attacked the half squad first. Because
Yeah,
the squad
possibly,
could
yeah.
never become armed. Yeah.
Right.
All
Yeah.
I can say is those prisoners done a lot better than I was expecting.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's just bonus, isn't it? It's bonus points for me really
Yeah.
at this point for anything.
Yeah.
Now there's no CVP cap or anything. Although it
I
does.
have spent, yeah, there. I've also spent so long getting that flamethrower across the river and then randomly run it. I thought you couldn't fire, didn't have any fire options left, but you
Right.
fire at the flamethrower
Yeah.
and kill the half squad carrying it and the
Yeah.
leader, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the machine gun, wasn't it?
That hurt.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. I got a 3, I think, on a down 3 shot. The flamethrower survived. Okay, so what we got going on? So now we've still got this standoff between the flamethrower down here and my 2 tanks.
Yes.
With the
It's
main-
my turn now, isn't it? So I don't fire it in
Yeah.
prep fire, but I am going to advance in.
Yep. I managed to disable my main armament and on the repair roll, and then also double six the
Just,
CMG.
yeah.
So what else could go wrong with that tank? Really, we'll find out in a second.
Well, we'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my advancing fire, isn't it?
Yeah. So you've got the
So I,
pillbox.
I come up with a clever plan, which is a total mistake. I'd move into that pillbox because I know
Yeah.
you can't fire at me, thinking I can advance next turn into close combat
Right.
without you firing at me. And of course, I can't.
That's
As
right.
you rightly point out, I'm changing location and hex.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. It works from a trench, doesn't it? It works from a foxhole. It doesn't work from pillboxes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You passed the Patsy on your second attempt for the assault
Yes.
engineer with the flamethrower, and
And then we have a debate about whether I should have, because I choose to keep concealment.
that's right.
Hoping,
Yeah. After all that, yeah.
hoping to use the flamethrower later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I could have gone for a close combat, which I think I would have been able to. I think the kill number might have been a 5, possibly a 6. Not sure.
So I managed to break the flamethrower.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, he must be dead at this point. I must have him. He must be dead.
Yeah, and I thought the same.
And
And then I
yeah,
thought again.
yes, exactly. Yeah, the smoke is going to save him. Some more prep firing. What are we on here? Turn 7. So this is potentially the last turn of the day. So I decided to push a little bit. I think at this point, if I can make grab a couple of squads maybe, and hope that the game, I can leave myself in a little bit more of a precarious position, just because it potentially be the last turn. It's only a 1 in 6 chance of it being the last turn. So
Yeah.
So you managed to get.
But this is very different to normal campaign games in the sense that because by controlling strategic locations, you're not taking land that you can then set up in.
Right.
Because you just simply carry on from this scenario, don't you?
Yeah.
So it's less vital, that capturing strategic locations, I think, in this campaign game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like almost like a smaller scale
Yeah.
campaign in that. Yeah, it's like more closely linked. I get a hero jump in here. So this northern area looks fairly secure here.
Yeah, things were going very badly for me there, really.
In the south, you've made some progress.
But the south, I feel like I'm getting there.
Yeah, more smoke, which lets the flamethrower escape because he can't see the guys to his south.
Yeah.
I'll get him again another time.
And of course, because your vehicle became immobile, you gained a crew, and you were hoping to use the flamethrower with the crew.
Exactly,
But,
yes.
the
So
flamethrower escaped. And oddly, you're down 2 tanks now. I was struggling to impact those tanks, but one way or another, you are actually now down 2 tanks.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one was with the OBA, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. The OBA got one of them, and the recall got the other.
Your own mechanics, poor work, got the other one.
Exactly.
So again, down the south, I really feel like I'm building some strength, and I think really that's probably what I should have been doing in the north, is building strength.
Yep.
And then overwhelming you, rather than trying to fight you with insufficient force. But I suppose my thinking was that keep hitting you while you're kind of off guard before you're able to prepare positions properly and bring in reinforcements. Because you still have all those Belgians around. They're good quality troops, aren't they?
They are.
They've lost their horses, but
they haven't done anything. I kept blaming the Belgians, and you had a perfect response. It wasn't their fault.
No, you are the one moving them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, those poor Belgians.
Yeah, that's a massive fire going on over there, isn't it?
It is. Now the sniper got Rommel. Wounds
yes,
Rommel.
It did.
Wounds Rommel, which is in all that mass of guys. There's Rommel sitting there somewhere. He's going to get
absolutely
wounded by a sniper.
And he's and I like the kind of, there's a certain amount of historical accuracy to that, because he was nearly shot several times in this campaign, not necessarily at Dinant. I'm not quite sure whether that happened at Dinant.
Right. Yeah, and I was thinking. I think he set fire to a lot of the maybe this side of the river or something. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
how he pushed through, was with a smoke
I
grenade.
was thinking it wouldn't be bad for me at all if that wood on the west side was all burning. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be a bad thing
Yeah.
for me at all. It'd just be less for me to worry about.
Right.
The only problem is that of course the roads snake through the wood, and you need to be able to use the roads.
Right. 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 So at the end of my turn 8, the
Yeah,
scenario ended.
yeah,
So we'll have a quick kind of like a look at the map and decide now where we really are. So we'll start from the north. It looks like I've kind of held on to the northern area.
yeah,
We've got, what you've got there, you've got a squad and a medium machine gun, a leader, and pretty much that's it up there.
yeah,
Some DM guys and some,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Definitely didn't go my way.
And then, but you're certainly coming across the river.
I've managed to place two bits of the bridge. So there are two bridges. Both of them are now 2 hexes long.
Yep.
So there's in fact, so I need 2 more turns. One to unload final bit of the pontoon bridge, and then hopefully to place it.
Yep.
So it could be that in turn 2 of the next date, it could be that there are bridges
Yeah.
operable.
And the thing is your guys are coming on, sort of
Mm.
6 or 7 hexes away from this, and my
Yeah,
guys are coming on like
they're going to be
30
over those
hexes.
bridges very quickly.
Yeah.
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 And I've got, I mean, you've got lots of reinforcements too, but yours actually have to come further than mine. Mine
Yeah.
have got, only going to come down that river. So you could potentially have heavy tanks coming down there, crossing the bridge on turn 3.
Yep. Yeah, and I have very little armor available to.
Yeah, but the armour you've got is better than what's on board at the moment, what I've got on board at the moment. But the heavy tanks, potentially, it's quite an expensive thing to buy.
Yeah.
But I think they would be able to manage your armour.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of
And
anti-tank.
and there's a lot of close fighting. If I can get enough infantry across, then I think the armour might even have to withdraw because it's just too dangerous in the
Right.
in the narrow roads and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating, isn't it? I don't know that where I put the bridges is the best place.
I think getting them across is just anywhere will be good enough. I think it's only a turn extra.
Yeah, but it's surprisingly time consuming moving through some of these narrow roads, crossing bridges, then having to move through another town and then go into action.
Yeah.
It's I think an optimum play would carefully consider where all the bridges are going to go. And I've still got to build a 16-ton pontoon bridge, which obviously I'll buy this time, and I'll have to start building that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's fascinating stuff.
It is, and we're having a good time. It is mentally very draining playing a day like this. But it is quite amazing to watch it all unfurl, and I still think I'll lose very quickly at some point. I think the scales will tip very quickly. But
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I think we've always said the sign of a good scenario is when both players think they're losing. That's a good scenario. So we will get through day 3 at some point, perhaps within the next month or so. That's what we'll aim for. But good stuff. Okay, so we're having a good time with that. Next up, we are going to do a little challenge for you. So we're going to play, and we're playing a little game here, and the prize is the winner will play the loser in Agony of Doom as originally printed by MMP or Avalon Hill, the original Avalon Hill version of it, so the unbalanced version. And the loser will be playing the unbalanced side, the unfavoured side. And this game is that I have 5 different ASL things that happen in ASL life, right? And you have to either stick or twist. I'm going to pick them out randomly, and you have to stick or twist. And if you get, I'm going to give you a fair thing. If you get either the first or the second best thing, then you will consider to have won this. But you only get a choice between sticking or twisting at each one. I'm going to pick them out randomly. Okay, so five different.
So how do you choose? How's it official? Which one is the best and the second best?
Graded by Indie, our good friend
Right, okay.
Indie, who
Okay.
graded these ASL feel good moments. Okay.
When did he last get anything right? Yeah. Okay.
All right. So your situation
Okay.
number one. Okay. Okay.
I'm quite nervous about this, Dave. I'm
all right.
going to tell you now.
So you're playing a scenario, and
Yeah.
your tank, which is of a lesser quality than the tank it is firing at, gets a critical, improbable hit, killing the tank. Okay.
Yeah. So that's sweet.
Are you
So
gonna
it's not over. Not finished.
It's not finished, but is that?
Okay.
Are you going to stick or twist? Is there a better feeling in ASL that I have written?
That's a sweet feeling. That'd be a sweet feeling. I think that I am going to twist on that one. I think there's sweeter ones in your hand.
I'm going to tell you that this was graded number 2 out of 5.
Oh no!
So you've thrown away one of the 2 out of 5. Okay.
So if the next one is number 1 and I twist, that's the end of the game, isn't it?
But we will still do it, right? Okay. Next one up. Okay. Okay. You have 2 squads and a 9 and a leader. 2 squads and a leader, and they pass a 2 morale check. Okay, all three units. But during the attack, it also generated a sniper that broke your enemy's key unit.
Ooh. Okay. Well. So if I'm a little bit. So if I stick,
if you stick with this one, and this is,
then that's my chosen one. Then
that's right. If this is the number 1 thing as voted by Indie, then you would win the game.
Okay. And what did it break? The sniper broke the
sniper broke a key enemy unit.
Right.
So you've passed this 2 morale check with all 3 units, and
see, it's although that's really sweet, it seems a bit too ordinary. That happens in ASL, doesn't it? So I'm gonna twist.
No, that's fine. Okay, that was number 3. That was rated number 3.
Okay.
So you're right to twist on that one. Okay, so there is still one better thing than an improbable critical hit. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. The next one. The new journal arrives through the letterbox.
That's a nice feeling as well, but I'm definitely going to twist on that one.
You're going to twist on that one. Okay, I'm going to hold off and let you know where that was.
Oh!
I'm going to hold off. Okay.
Does that mean it's the first, or is that it's?
I'm going to hold off.
Tell me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
The next one, next situation. Okay, your 9-2 advances outnumbered with a squad, outnumbered and concealed into an enemy unit. It wins the ambush, it kills the enemy unit, and it advances into another key location.
I love it when that happens. I love that.
It does feel sweet. It does feel sweet.
I'm going to go for it. I'm going to stick with that one.
You're sticking with that one. That was number 4. That was number 4.
Oh,
so okay. The last chance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Here's what I'll do. I will let you. It's your choice. You can either stick with your. Okay. You can't win. Okay. You can either have the new journal arrives.
Yeah.
Or you can have this one here.
So I've got one chance to swap.
One chance to swap.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to swap?
Without hearing it, or do I get
without
to hear it?
Without hearing it.
Okay. Without hearing it. I am going to go for the one I haven't heard.
The one you haven't heard. Okay. You're playing someone who has played the scenario before in a tournament. Okay. But you lost the side that you wanted, so you've now lost the balance. You've lost the balance as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've given the balance to a person who has played the scenario before, and you beat them in a tournament.
I'm going for that one then. That's my number 1.
That was considered. Indy didn't care about that because Indy is not a competitive player. So Indy's number 1 was journal arrives. So
you see, I love the feeling. I love it when the journal arrives. Okay, don't get me wrong, but I would never say that getting the journal is better than a gaming experience.
Yeah.
So I'd always put the gaming experiences above. I'd have put the journal arriving at the lowest point.
Yeah. And to
Yeah,
be
for that
fair,
reason, but
I did say to you that one of them was a little bit different to the others. The journal one is the one I was going to take out. But anyway, you've lost.
yeah.
So you will be
So
playing
Agony of Doom. I am
Agony of
now going to
Martin.
play the unfavoured side.
Yes.
Bloody amazing! That's a great prize, Dave.
Well, you could have won it. You could have.
One I could have done.
But I will
So
let
when are we
you.
doing that? When are we playing that?
We'll play it at some point. At some point.
Okay. Okay.
But I will allow you to have a similar challenge, ASL challenge, to play a similar kind of forfeit of your choice at some
Okay.
point as well.
All right.
In the future.
Okay.
Okay. You can make it as hard as you like. I don't mind. It's okay. We'll do it. Right. Last up, we have to talk about our bracket, the ASL brackets. No easy games in this bracket now.
No.
Number one, the better module. So the best way I can describe this is if you had to go on a month's ASL holiday and you only allowed to take one pack. I think this is the best way to try and describe these these kind of things, rather than if you were only allowed to have one or the other. But it's going to be if you had to take one and just play one for a month or two. Would you take the action packs or would you take Croix de Guerre second edition? What's your thoughts?
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, if you've got a couple of months, like you could play the campaign game, couldn't you? And you could you could really, really focus on it. I tell you what, I think I would probably take the action packs though.
I'm taking the Croix de Guerre because this idea that we could sit down with a campaign, we could play through it. There's some great scenarios we know about.
You made that much more awkward than it needed to be with that face. That kind of
because I was excited about the next ones. I was so excited about coming up with the question about. Okay, listen. So we're gonna put that one to a vote. We're gonna put that one to a vote. But to try and speed this up, okay.
Variety is the reason I'd take action packs.
Yeah, and that's fair. And if action packs wins, by the way, it ends up in a competition against the journals. So it's, that's good.
Yeah. I think it's a good one to ask people to vote for.
Okay, so we will ask people to vote for that one. But okay, next question. I'm gonna move on with this one because I want to try and get this going. Hollow Legions third edition or Valor of the Guards? What are you going with there?
So what am I going to take away for a couple of months?
Yeah.
Because of the quality of it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, so this isn't a case of either or. It's not like you're not going to end up with the Italians or the British in the desert. Or
No.
But if you were going to play something for the next couple of months,
I'd probably take Hollow Legions.
I was going to say Valor of the Guards. All right, okay. That was a vote.
Hang on. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I've written down Valor. I'm thinking it's beyond Valor. It's not.
No. Valor of the Guards.
Oh, right. Let me think again. Okay, let me think. I love Valor of the Guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a genuine mistake. I would take Valor of the Guards.
All right, okay. So Valor of the Guards has got through.
Yeah. I like Valor of the Guards more than Red Barricades. Not that that's the question, but yeah.
Right, okay, yeah. And we had some good time with Valor of the Guards. So, so the last one, and this is difficult. Festung Budapest or Red Barricades?
I know exactly what I'd take.
Go on.
Red Barricades.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also going to say that, but I wasn't as convinced. And Festung Budapest is excellent. I mean, it's really that's something I want to play more of.
I agree with that. I definitely think we should play more of it. And it might very well be that some of my feelings would change if I had a bit more experience of it. But Red Barricades is brilliant, isn't it? And I'd take it.
Yeah.
Red Barricades.
Okay.
So we've agreed on 2.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got to vote on the 3rd.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly that. All right. So we'll vote on that. It's funny because if you and I were to say let's say we were going to go get our cottage in wherever and we're going to go play. I would like to play a Festung Budapest campaign more than a Red Barricades campaign right now. But maybe because we haven't played enough of it.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
I want to play both. I suppose that's the reason I find it difficult to choose. Not at the same time.
We're struggling with Dinant right now, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll put Action Packs and Croix de Guerre to a vote, and that's that. Right, Martin. We are done. I think.
Yeah.
Anything else from you? You are midway through your Play Mail final against
Yes,
Tim?
yes. I'm struggling just this week with log files,
Yeah.
with things that are going on, but yeah, we're about halfway through the game.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the
And
final.
that is the final. And then we've got one last game going on in the second round, first round. I can't remember.
Yeah, we've had some issues, some difficulties with one game getting going. Unavoidable kind of
That's right. Yeah.
issues that people have been having. So
And
hopefully
they're
that'll be
genuine
finished
issues,
this
and they're
month.
not. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We should give these guys some time.
Absolutely. So we're hoping by the end of this month anyway that we'll be moving on to the next round.
Yeah, and that was setting the stage. Have we that's the have you that's the is that the second? I can't even remember that. Is that that's the second round? Is it? Yeah, the second round of that tournament.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we will hopefully start to show some of those scenarios. You've got log files for all of them, I think.
Certainly some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the one from your game, haven't you?
Yep,
I don't
yep.
have that.
Yep.
There would have been 4, wouldn't they? I think I've got 2, and there's one game to go, so that feels right. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing those.
Yeah.
Set the stage was I think an interesting scenario that I kind of felt like I didn't feel like I broke it, but I feel like I kind of played it a little bit unsportingly. I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we highlight the games.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So until next week, we're going to try and play. Maybe we'll try and play either something from the Nor'easter pack, or we'll play something from the Hasmo pack next.
Yeah.
I would love your log files again. For a chance to win the Hasmo pack, send us a log file of a game with a little bit of a description about what happened. Patrons will have a 2/3 chance of winning. Non-patrons will have a 1/3 chance. If the non-patrons win that role, I'll put everybody in the list to try and win it. If the patrons win it, I'll just do a roller for the patrons. Thanks again for all the patrons for your support and everything. It's all much appreciated.
Yeah.
That's all I've got, Martin.
That's pretty much all there is. It'll just be worth saying we're very close to like 1,000 YouTube subscribers, isn't it? So it might be if you haven't, it might just be worth hitting that just to get us over that little hurdle.
That's right. 72%. 72% of our viewers are subscribers. So
yes,
we're most people are subscribers. We don't like to bang on about subscribe and hit the notification and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But get us over that 1,000. Not for any extra value. We won't monetize the site or anything like that. I'm sure that people are holding off pushing the subscribe button just in case. But,
just in case, yeah.
What's the adverts going to be for our things? It would be things like hair loss replacement therapy and the demographic for our.
I get a lot of. What about sort of equipment to shave your genitalia? That would be the sort of thing I think we get.
Just any kind of hygiene product, really. Just
yes.
All right, Martin. Okay, well, until next time, we'll speak soon. Thanks again.
Yeah, take care all.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.